Hello, this is Janet from the eBook Queen, and today I'm going to tell you how to do a fillable interactive PDF file. So these are really handy when you have an e-course and you have worksheets and you want to have the people taking your e-course fill out your worksheets interactively so that they can type their answers on the PDF itself and save the PDF so that their answers stick with the PDF file. So this is really handy for people who prefer to just work off the PDF file itself rather than print it off and manually handwrite their answers. So you like to have an option for people and give people the option, so it's really good and super simple to do a PDF fillable document. So this is a file that I'm currently working on for a friend, and he's just about to launch his ebook about hustling to paradise. So this is his file, and he has some worksheets on the PDF itself. So I'm going to make it fillable right now on the spot. So the first thing you do is you want to get your artboard, dashboard, whatever you want to call it, ready for the work that you're going to be doing. So you want to go to Window, Workspace, and make sure that you're on Interactive for PDF. Now there's different options here for how to create your workspace depending on what focus you're doing. If you're creating an ebook file, then you might want to go Workspace Book. If you're doing a digital publishing file, then obviously digital publishing. These are just guidelines. This makes it so that your workspace is exactly what you need for the task at hand. So we're going to choose interactive PDF for the workspace because that's exactly what we're needing at the moment. So we're actually going to be working with the buttons and forms tool. And if you don't set up your workspace, because that is just optional, it's just a good way of doing things. Anyway, so interactive buttons and forms is where you can find it directly. If you go to Window, Interactive, Buttons and Forms. So that will pop that up, so you can highlight, bring it up to highlight. So let's say you want to fill out this into a fillable text file. Now this is assuming that you already have your worksheet ready to go and designed. And I'm not going to go into the background of how to set up the file prior to making it fillable. So this is just a basic tutorial on how to make it fillable itself. I'm not going to go into how to create this outline box that I have. So I'm either assuming you already know how to do this, or you can follow along for more tutorials, which I'm sure I'll be doing more of in the future. So this dashed box is telling me that this is already a fillable form. When it's not dashed, it means that it is not interactive at the moment. So we're going to make this interactive right now under the Buttons and Forms tool. So you go into Type and you choose what you want to do. So we want this to be a fillable text field. This is a text field. We want people to be able to write in this box. So that is a text field. And right away you see that it is already a dotted line, which means this is already fillable. That's as easy as that. You just go to Type and then choose text field. Now Another way to do it, let's just undo that just for the sake of telling you how, is you can also right click, or on a Mac, Control, and then go into interactive and convert to text field. So it does essentially the same thing. It's either the right click version of how to do it or directly on the buttons and forms, type field, clicking and dragging down to the text field drop down menu option. Okay, the next thing you want to do is actually name the text field so that you have a good idea of how to label what you're working with so you don't get too confused, because there's a lot of fillable text fields in this file. So I'm going to name this, how would you like your life to look like in 10 years? I'll just name it 10-year vision. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And you can test it out. Let's do another one here. I'm just doing fillable text field tutorial at this time. There's other options you can do in this buttons and forms toolbox, like adding buttons, obviously, or check boxes, but I'm just specifically focusing on text fields for this tutorial. So, don't forget to name them. Future self, perfect day and week, describe your perfect day, by the way, this is my first ever tutorial, and I was actually having a very emotional block on making my own videos. For some reason, this is like the most scary thing for me to do. Like, I am just completely irrationally afraid of making videos, even though I've done them in the past and I've done completely silly, embarrassing videos, but I've never done ones that were business related or put me in a position of leadership and a teaching role. So this is the first video where I am giving a tutorial and teaching you guys how to do something, and this really terrifies me, but I'm doing it anyway because it is good for you to learn this information, and it's good for me. Okay, so here's a situation where I do not have a text box fillable form, so I'm gonna go ahead and teach you how to do that. I wasn't thinking that I was going to on this tutorial, but it's coming up here, so why not? So we go here on your toolbar, the left hand side, to the rectangle tool, and if you highlight on it, M in the parentheses just means that you can actually click on M is kind of the hotkey to get you to this tool directly. So let's say, obviously it's already on M, so let's just highlight scissors and then click M on your keyboard. It will go directly to the other tool without having to use your arrow or whatever. So that's kind of cool. I love hotkeys. I'm so nerdy like that. So you just click and drag a text field, and then like so, and I want to match it up with the colors of my fillable text fields here because it's defaulting as black. So I want to highlight this by clicking on it. Make sure I'm on the stroke option and not the fill option. Make sure the stroke option is highlighted in the front. And then we go into our swatches, not the color palette. We want to go to swatches because I have already inputted this color into my swatches. And so I simply highlight the color that I want, which is this one. And then I can go copy and paste to create a new text field that's exact same shape. But this is a bit inefficient because it's just copying and pasting wherever it feels like it on the page. And then I have to move it around and do that whole thing. So I don't like to do copy and paste. Actually, what I like to do, if you're on the Mac, is Option, which will bring this is a little hotkey that brings this arrow, that second arrow right behind there, means that it's going to duplicate this text box. So I just hold my finger on the option. I don't let it go. I keep it on the option. And then I just click and drag it down so this actually aligns it. I click and drag it down, and when I'm ready, I just release my hand, and that's that. Now if I don't hold down the option key, it's just going to move it around without duplicating. And holding it down makes sure that it aligns. Although with the latest version of InDesign CC, it will just naturally align for you by these green lines, so that's really handy. But Option is the hotkey you want for duplicating anything you want. You can duplicate a text field, you can duplicate a shape, you can duplicate images. So Option is a really fun hotkey that I really use a lot. So now we go back to buttons and forms, and if you remember, we either go into type, text field, or do you remember right key or control, interactive, convert to text field. And I'm sure you don't have to necessarily name the file, but it's always a good practice to do so. It's like if you're familiar with Photoshop, you don't have to name every single layer that you're working with, but if you have like 50 layers, yeah, then it's good to name it, because obviously 50 layers is going to get confusing, so it's good to have some descriptor of what you're working with. So it's not a necessity, it's definitely optional to name things, but it's definitely good practice. And so I'm naming them. Although it's definitely not the end of the world if you don't name them. You can definitely skip this step. It's pretty much personal preference of whatever you want to do. So I could keep going on and on here, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and let's save this file so that we can see our changes. We can always go back and edit more of the text fields later, but I'm just going to go ahead and make the PDF now so you can see what I'm doing and that it's working and it's made its fillable text. So I'm going to go to File, Export. And again, the hotkey, if you're nerdy like me and you love hotkeys, is, as you can see, Command E. So I like to do the hotkeys. And then obviously you want to save it to a place where you know you're going to be able to find it. And save as the name that you want it to be named. I'm going to keep it that name. That's fine for me. Format, make sure that it's selected as Adobe PDF Interactive, because that's what we're working with. We're making this file interactive and fillable. And then you want to save. And just double checking that everything is correct. Forms and media include all. Usually you don't really have to do anything, but you're just double checking and just click OK. And this I just completely ignore. Just go OK. OK. So this is a huge ass file. It's actually over 100 pages long, but I'm just going to show you the parts where I made the fillable text. I'm doing this file. This is my current on the work plate. I'm doing it on the cuff for you guys so you can see. Now here it says click sign to fill out and sign this form. That doesn't mean anything to me. So here you can now see that you can fill out this form. This blue box means that it's a fillable interactive PDF. And remember when I was doing this, I haven't done these yet, obviously, so these are blank. But yeah, all of this area you can actually just click and write directly on the file. And then you can save the file. Let's close it out and let's see that it saved my information. And I'm not sure that it saved my information. Yeah, so this is the part where I didn't fill it out, versus this is the part that I did fill out. So I'm using my preview tool, which I actually prefer better than Adobe Reader on my Mac because it's from the Mac software itself, so it's making it a lot more crisp. That's just how Mac likes it. We want you to use our products and not other people's, so we're gonna make ours look better. So let's just save this, exit out, open it up again, and yes, the information is saved. See, it wasn't doing it in Adobe Reader because for some reason it's finicky. And it's not me, it's them. It's not the fact that I fucked up the interactive PDF file, it's just Adobe Reader being weird. But yeah, that's how to fill out a fillable PDF form. And I'd like to give a shout out to Kimra Luna, who encouraged me to make videos. She really advocates that in her online marketing tactics and in teaching others how to do it. And she inspired me to start creating videos. So hopefully this is going to be a new trend of mine. I'm going to start putting myself out there with video. So I hope you enjoyed my first tutorial, and I'll see you next time.